Here are some facts about serial killers that most people don't know. The most comprehensive serial killer database, or SKD, contains information about 5,752 serial killers and 15,088 victims as of March 2023. This database uses the 2005 FBI definition of a serial killer, which is the unlawful killing of two or more victims by the same offender in separate events. So here's what we know. The vast majority of serial killers have been active in the United States at 64% of all known offenders. England, the nation that had the second highest number of serial killers, accounts for only 3% in the world. One popular belief about serial killers that holds up over time is that they are almost always male, which, as the SKD tells us, is the case for an astounding 90% of identified worldwide serial killers and 91% of those who are US-based. As you can see from this chart, the percentage of female serial killers has decreased over time. Prior to the 1930s, approximately a third of all known serial killers were women, compared to about 8% since 1980. According to this database, prior to 1900, serial killers were nearly 50-50 male and female, which is somewhat shocking, though we have to remember that birth control was not a thing back then, and infanticide and child killings make up most of the female serial killer murders. Male serial killers are more likely than female serial killers to torture their victims, mutilate the body after death, and engage in overkill. Male serial killers are more likely to only kill females, whereas female serial killers are more likely to have both male and female victims. The majority of female serial killer victims are family members, whereas the victims of male serial killers tend not to be family members. Many people falsely believe that the typical profile of a serial killer is a Caucasian male in his mid-20s. These offenders actually rise from all racial categories. Across all time, approximately half of serial killers in the US have been white, 40% have been black, 7% Hispanic, 1% Asian, and 1% Native American. Enjoyment was more often a motivator for white serial killers than black serial killers. Poison was used more often by white serial killers than black serial killers, whereas black serial killers were more likely to shoot their victims than white serial killers. White serial killers were more likely than black serial killers to torture victims, engage in overkill, and mutilate the body after death. Most, if not all, serial killers endured some form of abuse as children. The most common type of abuse reported was physical, followed by psychological, followed by sexual, which we know is often underreported, especially by males. It is more common that a serial killer would report abuse, while the family members of the serial killer would deny the abuse occurred. Across the board, serial killers are more likely to be middle-born children, and almost 60% of serial killers did not graduate from high school. The most common motivation of serial killers seems to be the enjoyment of killing, followed by financial gain, and then anger. In the US, the three most common killing methods were gunshot, followed by strangulation, and then stabbing. In Canada, the three most common killing methods were strangulation, followed by gunshot, and then stabbing. What astounds me the most about these stats is the massive percentage gap of serial killers in the US compared to the rest of the world. That the US makes up 64% of all serial killers worldwide. Perhaps examining what it might be about American culture that potentially breeds these types, both serial killers and mass shooters. Is it a collective sickness? A fetishization of guns? Something else? I'm curious to hear what you guys think. And if you want to dive deeper into the psychology of serial killers, come see me in person. Check out the link in my profile.